What's good? What's good? What's good? Passport Bros. It's your boy No Excuse, ENT, the Passport Bros podcast, man. So I'm ready to have a live debate, man. I'm gonna make sure I drop the link shortly. Um, but I gotta go head to head with Black Man Travels. We've been kind of going back and forth on this thing, man. So we're just like let's bring it to the YouTube streets, man. I'm gonna drop the intro, man, and we're gonna get straight to it.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in the deal. Just took a flight to Bora Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to go so we going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing same alone. My diamonds be saying, add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.
Yo. We here. Let me see who in the building. Waiting for Black Man Travels to pull up, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully he ain't scared out there. K Haunton, man. Salute. What's good, man? Oh, man. The homie Alex. What's good, man? Here we go. He said, do you need a referee? Oh, for sure, man, for sure. You know what I mean? Once I drop the link, man, you know what I mean? Definitely want to get your opinions, man. So while wait for Black Man Travel, so I'm just gonna just go over some, just some different opinions on the topic. What is a passport, bro, and who fits the definitions. So it was one statement that said, I think. Okay, let me drop the link here. I thought I WhatsApp. Let me drop the link. It's just for Black Man Travels right now. All right, cool. So he said, I think the Passport Bros comes down to whether or not you are using a passport. You need your passport to travel. It's not about how you are engaging with the women, because you are either living abroad or using your passport. That's simple. My passport goes out to go to Brazil or back to the States, which only do I pick up a check or when someone dies. I think the real comes up is going from traveling to living abroad. That's the only way to see beyond the 5 to 20 day experience. As he said, I would like to see brothers getting completely out the matrix. It's hard enough to rule over any woman in the same house, much less than 1,000 miles away. Or I see Black Man Travels. We bring Black Man Travels up. So I'm just reading. What's good, bro? So I'm just reading over some, just a few talking points before we get to it. If your address is in the United States of America and you are Black and traveling internationally, you are a passport bro. I'll read this last. To anyone that will put down a brother for dealing with a pro versus some regular chick, take it from someone that's been living abroad, has been living on the ground since 2016 in the third world. You have 3 to 7 days in Colombia. When in the hell are you going to get time to enjoy yourself with a regular chick? They are always working. Even on Saturday, your relationship will be online or WhatsApp. And the 2 hours she might have after she gets off Monday to Sunday and Monday to Saturday and Sunday if she's not with her family. So that's just a few things, man. So let me see who else we got in the building. Wantarius, what's good, bro? You waffle, he said, looking forward to this topic, man. So yeah, let's get to it, man. So I know that you've been pretty you've been pretty vocal. I ain't gonna lie. You've been pretty vocal about I'm not a passport bro.
Yeah.
This and that. You know, and at first I kind of just, you know, I just kind of like, you know, that's how I feel. But I felt the need to kind of speak up. I felt the need to kind of speak up, you know, because I'm of the, well, I'll put it like this. If you are, this is how I look at it. If you are someone that says, you know what, I am done with the matrix, whether it's done as far as dating relations, I am done with the matrix as far as dating. Some guys is done as far as having sexual intercourse. Some guys are done as saying, you know what, I would never get married or have a child in the U.S. So to me, that's a passport bro. And I think there's a lot of cap when some guys try to say, I'm not a passport bro. Not saying that you have to call yourself that, but you know what I mean? Do you fit the definition, man? Someone pastor, do you fit the definition of a passport bro?
No.
Shout out to International Zoe Barber TV. What's good, brothers? What's good?
No, and the reason why I say that, because before this whole social media craze, so-called movement started, what were we before then? Did we even have a category? Did we even have a name before 2022? We were just black men traveling. We were just men traveling, living life, exploring the world. Now we're forced to put ourselves into a category where every man who has a passport is traveling to find a submissive woman. I'm like, really? That's what it came up to? Like now all of a sudden, that before all the yesteryears of traveling, we're all now boiled down to one category of passport bros that, hey, we're looking for a submissive woman so we could pump our chest and say, hey, I found a submissive woman, and the hell with y'all modern women. Traveling is not about that. Traveling is about exploring, living, enrichment, you know, living your best life. Since when it became to just looking for a woman.
Okay. So who inspired you to try? I mean, what was some inspiration to you starting to travel?
Well, sir, I came into this country on a raft boat with my mother from Haiti. So that was my inspiration right there. Started traveling at 6 months old, man. I always had an interest in traveling. Even when I was a kid, I used to always watch National Geographic. I used to daydream being another place. And when I had the chance to actually leave Miami and move to Chicago, and in Chicago, I was working for different companies where I was traveling a lot domestically. I just got that bug, man. I always had it in me. So I never really needed a term to define why I was traveling. And again, I was just traveling just for the sake of traveling because I wanted to see different things. Now, don't get it twisted now. I was getting it in. I was doing my thing, but that was never my primary reason why I traveled.
All right. So from my recollection, you said you started internationally traveling about 2016, right?
No. Nah, man. For one, I came in this. I wasn't born in this country. I came into this country.
No, I'm saying when you started traveling to
internationally, I started traveling internationally back in 2003.
2003.
But I had a passport, and the passport I got it with my mom when I used to fly back to Haiti, and that was the only time I utilized my passport. But once I had the financial means to travel, I ventured out. But before, I was just traveling back to Haiti.
All right, so I'm about to call out some cap, man. So,
all right, go for it, man.
All right, so put a one in the chat if you heard of Charles Tyler before. Put a one in the chat if you heard of Charles Tyler before. Shout out Solo Traveler. Shout out V Swells. So put a one in the chat if you heard of Charles Tyler before. So here's some, in my opinion, some cap. So Charles Tyler, he had his Facebook group, and I would say, in my opinion, he is kind of like, the pioneer of what we call today the Passport Bro movement. So Charles Tyler, when Charles Tyler was alive, his Facebook group was probably the only group where Brother Black Man Travels was a member of. I was in that group. Taylor Made, Flip Flop, a
lot of us.
a lot of Dennis John Pierre, Jay Clyde. It's so many. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting somebody. It was a lot of people that's that you see now all came from that Charles Tyler group, right? And so Charles Tyler message and everybody that was in that group, they supported his message. And Charles Tyler primarily message was, get out
Explore your options.
Explore
get out the matrix.
Get out the matrix. So keyword matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix, we all know what matrix applies to. All the black men that was associated with Charles Tyler and his group, Black Man's Option, everybody was on board with escaping the matrix, right? And traveling in regards to escaping the matrix. So what is the matrix? The matrix is the things that we that a lot of guys complain about, want to escape from through travel. So the matrix, feminism is part of the matrix. Other things that keep people economically hindered, so forth and so forth is part of the matrix. So you was part of the movement on Escape to Matrix. So how can you say you're not a passport bro?
Right,
Passport Bros is about escaping the matrix.
Okay,
Let me read the super chat real quick.
Shout
Shout out to International Zoe Barberwell TV. Appreciate the $20 super chat. He says the reason that most people travel to explore different countries, see new cultures that are different from what they are used to. That is a reason for a lot of people, but that's not the reason for a lot of guys. So we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Go ahead.
First, I want to acknowledge International Zoe. I met him twice. What's up, Zoe? We met in Sosua as well as Copacabana. I admire his content. I admire how he travels. I agree with him. That's one of my primary reasons. Again, I was traveling way before even I met Charles Tyler. Charles Tyler Group was an outlet for me because at that time, and I'll be transparent as possible, I was going through a divorce. So when I came across his podcast radio, this was 2014, before the group. So I used to listen to his podcast radio about Brazil. And I always been curious about Brazil, but I've been to other countries already. Granted, when I was married, I was traveling with my wife and kids. So before any reason I started traveling, it was before the Facebook groups. The Facebook groups was an outlet for me to meet other like-minded brothers just like yourself. And you're right, the Black Men Option groups, or was it Black Men Looking for Love, something like that? I can't remember the term, but we were all in that group. I remember those days. And again, I was traveling way before Facebook groups even started because I was married. I was married for 10 years. Both of my sons had passports. So we were traveling a lot. It was just, I started getting into the wing of meeting other black men traveling through these groups. But but I was doing this way before Charles Tyler. So Charles Tyler didn't inspire me to do it. Charles Tyler inspired me to go to Brazil. That's it.
Did you support his movement?
I support his thought process and encouraging black men to go and explore their options. I agree. I think a lot of us, and let's just keep it real based on stats, a lot of us do not have passports. A lot of us do not travel. So, I mean, right now, based on the U.S. Department of Labor, Transportation, only 29% of Americans have a passport. Only 29%. So within that 29%, what is the percentage of black people who have a passport? Better yet, what is the percentage of black men who have a passport?
I mean, it's still a small percentage.
It's still a small percentage. But my thing is, if you're going to travel because you want to explore and just try different things. Don't let it be because you're escaping modern women. If that's your primary reason, then yeah, it's weak. That's a weak reason for you to travel. Because the same games that you're trying to run away from, you're going to experience those same games overseas in Thailand, DR, Colombia, Costa Rica. We both know that.
Okay, so do you prefer sexual relations overseas or in the U.S. or?
I love sex. I love sex, domestic and overseas. I love sex. So I'm not one of these guys that go monk mode between travels. Look, I live in Atlanta. I'm a single man. I could go out there and explore my options, domestic and overseas. So I'm not one of these guys that's gonna hold out for 3, 5, 6 months for a weekend trip of lust. Why?
Okay, so if you get married, if you would get married again, it wouldn't matter if she was from the U.S. or abroad.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. As long as she's a good woman, as long as we're compatible and we get along. Look, that's what's important to me. Her being a foreign woman does not matter. I mean, now granted, I am currently in a relation with a foreigner, but that was not the primary reason. It just happened.
Okay, let me catch up on some of these chats real quick. Kang Dynasty is here, said it's to get out the matrix, period. Crime, violence. Also salute to military vets who had a effect on this travel game. Nothing taken away from anyone who did it first or next. Let's see. That was those responses. Appreciate the super chat. We're on the trials with Alex. He said, I don't agree with Charles Tyler has ownership of the black men traveling. Black military men knew about traveling longer than any movement even started. I don't agree. So I'm not saying that Charles Tyler started the movement as far as men in general, black men and men in general, exploring options overseas. But what I'm saying is that Charles Tyler was the one that vocalized, that was inspired by Al Grease's film Frustrated. You know what I mean? And Al Grease, Frustrated, resonated with a lot of brothers. And, you know, I've heard brothers like yourself and say, you know, the Frustrated series was spot on. What black men specifically was dealing with, whether it was divorces, the system, all those things. And so that was what Charles Tyler was vocalizing. Escaped the matrix. You know what I mean? Guys that are frustrated, there's a place where you could go for guys that are frustrated. And so that, to me, that in the essence is what Passport Bros is doing. It's a red, like I always say, it's a red pill action, because red pill is essentially saying, you know what, I checked out the matrix.
So what you're saying is the Passport Bro is part of the Manosphere, MGTOW, red pill circle of things.
We don't. Manosphere is basically a space for men. So the Manosphere could be anything. It's a locker room. It's a space for men. That's what the Manosphere is. So yes, the Passport Bros is a part of the Manosphere.
It's kind of interesting because right now women are controlling the Manosphere right now. Based on some of the biggest YouTubers that talking Manosphere talking points, there are women. So if it's an all boys club, why women are running it?
I don't know. I don't associate. I don't pay attention to that. I don't pay attention to that. I'm not going to go in a locker room. I'm not going to talk about male stuff in a locker room, and women are in the locker room. That's what a locker room is.
I mean, just to go back, I mean, again, I understand Passport Bros, frustration, whatever, but to think that you going overseas is going to make your life even better, it's not the case. There's some underlying issues that we're not dealing with as black men. And again, when I think of Passport Bros, I'm thinking of black men. I know Passport Bros consists of Asians, Latins, whatever, but Passport Bros originally started as black men. There's some things we need to deal with. A lot of us are traveling hurt. A lot of us are traveling with anger, carrying a lot of baggage to these countries, thinking that, you know what, this woman is going to make their life better. And it's never the case. You know that for a fact. We've seen so many guys get played for their money, for their resources and everything else. So to think that you could go overseas and think like, you know what, hey, I find me a submissive woman, my life is great. It's not always the case.
Let me see something. Vacationer, active. Okay, maybe he was responding to somebody. I'm not sure he responded to. He said, everyone is in the matrix, black, white, yellow. Yeah, everyone is in the matrix unless you consider yourself taking a red pill. International Zoe said there are those that come from the cloth of Charles Tyler, and those are Passport Bros. Yes, and there are those that haven't. So there are a lot of travelers that never heard of Charles Tyler, never heard of Al Grease, or was never a part of the ideology of, I'm done with the Matrix. I'm done with Matrix women, blah, blah, blah. Some guys didn't come out that. And so, And so, those guys, they have they can probably say, I'm not a Passport because I never bought into or related to the ideology of checking out the Matrix. But anything that revolves checking out the Matrix is tied to, is tied to the Passport, bro.
So what do you consider checking out the Matrix? Like, because that seems so vague. Like, what do you mean by that? Checking out the Matrix?
all right, checking out the Matrix, you pretty much, I mean, you're aware of what's going on, and you decide, you know what, I'm not going to participate in that. So we know a lot of it. We're going to talk about just as it pertains to love, dating, relationships.
Okay.
So if you know in a Matrix or Matrix-like societies, you know, like, okay, the divorce rates are like almost 50%. I'm not going to participate in that. You know what I mean? Because we know why the divorce rates are what it is. And we know why the divorce rates are, you know what I mean, filed, 80% plus by women. So we're going to check out of that because we you know what I mean, that's the Matrix.
So the Matrix basically revolves around the woman. Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
No, I'm just saying that's an aspect of the Matrix. There's other aspects of the Matrix, but we're talking about travel.
Yeah, traveling. So I mean, but the thing is, right now the Passport Bros are pushing this narrative that guys travel, go find that submissive woman overseas. That's like the main storyline that's being promoted, right?
No.
So if,
let me break it down like this.
Okay.
If you prefer smashing overseas, if you prefer casual dating overseas, if you prefer having a girlfriend overseas, if you prefer marriage overseas, if you prefer having a child overseas, then by definition you are a passport bro.
But you keep going back, but you keep referencing women as why you're traveling. So is that the primary reason why you're traveling? Consider yourself a passport bro because you're trying to find a woman? That's the primary reason why you got a passport?
The passport, we're men, right?
Yeah.
All right, like you said earlier, we like to smash. We like to smash.
Oh yeah, we like to get it in for sure, man.
Right. We like relationships. We like companionships.
But the thing is, women should be the icing on the cake, not the full cake itself. So when guys lead off, hey, I'm going to go overseas finding a wife or a woman, more than likely he's going to get played because he doesn't understand the customs or the laws of these countries. So they think, you know what, hey, I'm going to find me a girl that's going to be submissive to me, but yeah, she could be submissive to you temporarily until she gets what she wants. I mean, come on, we've been in this travel game for a long time, and we've seen a lot of the foolishness that happens overseas where guys are getting played.
All right, shout out to the Flyboy Way. Salute. Those men, even if black, aren't passport bro. All right, so we got some countries we travel to in common. You've been you've been to Colombia, right? Yeah,
we've pretty much been almost the same countries that we've been to. Been to Colombia, been to Brazil, been to DR, been to Costa Rica, and again, most of these countries are considered monger countries. But I also been to other countries that were not considered monger countries. So we're
gonna focus on the countries that are associated with passport, bro. So you
all right? So the big three, the big four.
All right, you've been to Thailand.
Yeah, I've been to Thailand. Yeah,
been to Colombia many times.
Yeah, DR.
Okay, been
Brazil.
To Brazil. You've been to Peru, right?
I've been to Peru, been to Ecuador, been to Chile.
Okay, so pretty much we can say second or third world countries, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it's like it's kind of hard to go to Vegas a lot of times and say, you know what, I don't really gamble. It's kind of hard to go to Thailand, Colombia, and Brazil and say, you know what, I just went strictly for the culture. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to sell that. You know what I mean? So put it. Let me make it a little bit more easier. So in the last, and we're gonna be 100, right? All right. So in the last 5 years, let's say 5 years, have you smashed more women internationally or in the United States?
Last 5 years, I've been single. I would say
no. Have you smashed the amount of women you smashed? Has it been more overseas or more in the U.S.?
Well, it had been more in overseas.
All right, so I rest my case.
What that even has to do with it, man?
Listen, this man has said, I can pull women. He said,
I can.
He said what he can do.
I can.
Overseas, he could do in the U.S. and vice versa.
Okay.
Numbers don't lie. He
But
said
I don't see the correlation here.
Let me get to it.
Go ahead.
You said whether it's overseas or in the U.S., you know what I mean, you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
You have by choice, you have smashed more women outside the U.S. than in the U.S.
Okay. I'm still trying to find the correlation here.
So
I'm trying to.
So by the numbers, you had a choice to do that. So you preferred to be with more women overseas than the U.S. You preferred that.
All right, wait. All right. First of all, I don't see the correlation between that. That doesn't make any sense.
Let me know if y'all see the correlation in the chat. Let me know.
No, there is none, man. You reaching, bro.
There ain't no reason.
Hey, look. All right. First of all, I spent more time overseas. Like even last year alone, I went to 7 countries last year.
You didn't have to smash,
but I did. I mean,
didn't
look,
have to smash though.
Wait, hold up. But I did. But the thing is, I still got things done. I was working as a digital nomad. I was creating content, so I was still doing my thing. Even here in Atlanta, when I fly back home to Miami, same thing. No, if I'm out and about and if I'm on a date and there's a connection, why not? So wait, so no excuse. So you're trying to tell me if you got a connection with a chick, no matter where you are, and you're just not gonna smash, you can say, I'm just gonna be a good guy, and you know what, I don't do that here. No, I'm a single man.
I'm saying out of the 365 days a year, you spend more in the U.S. than you do overseas.
Well, last year was an exceptional because I actually spent more time overseas.
In the last 5 years.
Last 5 years, of course, I live here. And I have a child, so of course, majority of my time will be here.
Okay, so
I just don't see the correlation of me smashing more chicks overseas to women here. It just there's a process in how like the dating scene and mating scene is here.
Oh, okay. So all right, so which further it makes sense, right? So let's get on that. So it makes sense.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a step back.
Okay.
We both understand like people view sex overseas differently compared to how Americans view sex. Sex in other countries is more casual versus sex here in the United States. We all know that. If a girl has a connection with you and she's feeling you, more than likely you could probably sleep with her. It is what it is. And that's how it is in majority of countries. In the US, a girl will still have an interest in you, but you know what? She'll play the game like, hey, you know what? I don't want him to think that I'm a whore or whatever. So I'm gonna let him wait for a week or a month, depending on whether or not she's feeling you or not. In some cases, you may get on the first date.
But hold on. But you said earlier that you can do the same thing.
Yeah, I could go out and date and meet women. Yeah, that's the same thing going overseas. Come on, man.
You just saying it's harder.
I got my notes and stuff.
You saying it's hard. You saying it's a little bit harder than the Matrix.
I'm not saying. I never said it was hard. I said the process is a little different. I never said it's harder. The process is different. If a woman's feeling you, there's a possibility that she may give it to you, or she may not, or she may play the long game. Like, hey, you know what? Let me just hold off, so I won't give any perception of myself. You know how that's how things are in the United States.
Yeah, I understand.
See, look, even Zoe agree with me. How can you smash more women in the U.S. if you spend more time out of the U.S.?
Right, but that's not the case though. If you spend more time out the U.S., yes, it's understandable that you smash more chicks. But I just asked you the question. I said, where have you spent the majority of the year? And
due to the fact that I'm a full-time father, and when I have my son, when I don't have my son, I'm out of the country. So yes, so more than likely, the likelihood of me having a lot of sex here is slim because I have my kid with me majority of the time, and my kid is small. So it's based on my availability. Now, if I don't have my kid, of course, I'll be smashing every damn day, but it's not the case. Okay, that has nothing to do with Passport Bros, man. Get back to the topic, man. I got my notes ready for you, man. Let's go.
No, I'm pointing out the.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this, man. Because again, I came prepared. Just like you, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a notes taking guy as well. for the past couple of days, I posted it in several groups stating that is the Passport Bros a movement or a lifestyle? What do you consider a Passport Bro? Is it a movement or a lifestyle?
I'm gonna answer that. Let me read the super chat.
Sure.
Ronald Trout with Alex said, red pill by definition is understanding that the society we live in is not for your benefit, but for corporations. It has nothing to do with women. The Matrix is in a company. I wish Pablo was here. The red pill is about being done with. The concept of the red pill has evolved over time, but the premise was based off the movie The Matrix. You know what I mean? So people have, commercialized red pill, but red pill is basically saying, you're basically woke. I'm basically woke, and I'm woke to the situation, whether it's woke to how women are, woke to how feminism works, woke to how the government works, woke to whatever the case may be. That's in essence red pill. Okay, Halton. So let me read one more super chat, then I'm gonna answer the question. Southern Creole Flavor says standard for men to protect and provide international. What love got to do with it? All right, trying to figure out what that was in response to. The standard for men to protect and provide is international. Okay, I get what you're saying. Appreciate the super chat, bro. So all right, so the Passport Bro, it started out as a movement. Like I did, I credit Charles Tyler. I would say as far as getting a lot of black men and pushing the talking point of escaping the Matrix. You know what I mean? And pretty much he was done with dealing with women from the Matrix. Sexually, relationship wise, etc. Is it a lifestyle? I guess everybody makes it a lifestyle depending on how often they travel, what they like to do, what they like to, the type of careers they want to stay in, if they're digital nomads. What's your thoughts on that?
It's not a movement. It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Passport Bros, if you lose your job today, you have no source of income, your ass ain't traveling. It is what it is. You don't have the option to go out there to find that wife that you're looking for. So it's a lifestyle. A movement creates some type of social change. Passport Bros is not creating any type of change, changing laws or changing lifestyles, anything. It is what it is. It's just a circle of guys complaining about, hey, I want to go overseas to find me a woman. Now, if you're broke and dusty, you can't travel and you can't find that woman. It is what it is. So it's a lifestyle. And again, traveling is a privilege. Everyone can actually have that opportunity. Privilege. Someone that has a felon, who has, child support rears up to $40,000. I think in some states, if you're owed about $2,000 to $3,000 in child support rears, you can't even get a passport. So really, it's a lifestyle. You got to afford to maintain this lifestyle of traveling, because traveling is very expensive. And
just because you may not be in financial position to participate in traveling doesn't mean that you're not a part of the movement. How
can you be part of the movement if you don't have a passport?
Because that was part of the message that was always being preached, was like, fellas, get your passport, get your passport. That is the movement. That's the current movement going on right now.
So telling everyone to get their passport is a movement. While right now you have so many YouTubers out there calling themselves Passport Bros or calling themselves Passport whatever, and they don't even have a passport. They never left the country. So how can you talk about something about traveling passport life if you don't even have a passport?
I get what you're saying. It just depends on if they're in the process of doing it. Like if they don't ever plan on traveling, if they're not working towards getting that, because it's steps. You know what I mean? Like it's probably people that only could travel once a year. You know what I mean? That doesn't make them not a passport, bro. You know what I mean? So it's steps.
It's what it is. A passport bro is someone who has a passport. That's my mindset. That's the way I see it. If you don't have a passport, you cannot speak on the topic. It is what it is. You have a lot of guys who are interested in that lifestyle, not that movement, the lifestyle of having the ability to go overseas and be with multiple beautiful women. It's a fantasy. We all live in that fantasy when we travel sometimes. However, if you're trying to find love or find this relationship that everyone is talking about, it's going to take time and money and effort to do that. It's not as simple as everyone say it is.
All right, so if you say what's not a passport, bro, in your opinion, what is a passport, bro?
I mean, I don't even know. It's kind of hard to even explain what a passport bro is. To me, look, a passport bro, the perception that I'm getting with a passport bro is someone who's dissatisfied with women, and their reason of traveling is to go find a submissive woman. That's the current perception that I have. Because the guys who are putting in work and traveling and doing their thing, they're not even referencing women at all. But yet you have a lot of guys, all they talk about is women, and it's like, well, where's the travel content? Like, where's anything that's around traveling? Everything focused on finding a woman. And that's how the movement has so-called put themselves into. It's just like men are looking for exotic women to be subservient. That's the current perception that I'm getting and everyone else is getting.
Okay, shout out to QB Passport Flexing. 199 super chat, bring the heat. Yeah, so I'm about to dig into this nigga, man.
You look, I'm drinking water, man, because I got to get back to the gym, so it's all good.
So back to these countries that we traveled to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back to these countries, where they are stereotypically known for, let's say, more submissive, cooperative women, easy to get along with. Casual dating isn't as taboo. So, just curious, what brought your interest to want to travel? Let's say Colombia, DR, Brazil.
Easy.
More than once. More than.
All right. For one, I lived in Miami, and living in Miami, I could buy a plane ticket to Colombia for $62. I could fly to DR for like $200. So that was one of the main reasons. I grew up around Hispanics, so I always had an interest to go there. And two, man, I was having a lot of fun. Again, this is 2015. When I started hitting those countries really, really hard, I was going through a divorce, so I needed an escape. So living in Miami, and I have all of Latin America right next door to me. Why not? It's cheaper for me to go to Brazil or to Costa Rica than me flying all the way to New York or to California. So why not explore Latin America and the Caribbean islands if it's right there next to me?
All right. So you don't want to be. All right. So there's a stigma because you've been vocal about the stigma around the passport, bro. There's a negative connotation when it comes to passport, bro. Do you agree with that?
Look, again, I understand a lot of guys are frustrated. Look, great. If you're going to travel, just go ahead and travel. The point of you going back and forth, trying to like make seem like life is better or whatever, it's pointless, man. I guess I'm
no, that's not the question.
Go ahead.
The stigma that certain people in social media try to create about passport, bro, is a negative stigma. Like, are you aware of some of the stigmas?
Yeah. Like sexual tourism, like the S tourism. I don't want to use the word or whatever. Right. Yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
All right, let me stop you there. So you're aware of some of the negative stigmas around passport bros. Those things as tourism. I'm not going to go in detail, but people know that people try to put passport bros in a negative light, and some brothers, because of that, and probably not because of that, don't want to be associated with it. Cool, but if you want to be vocal and disassociate yourself from passport bros, you're not doing a good job by going to these countries. Why continue to go to Colombia, DR, Brazil, Thailand? I
just got back from Thailand. I was in DR for a month. DR
which all have legal forms of prostitution.
Yeah, like every country has some form of prostitution.
Legal form of prostitution. Legal and tolerated forms of prostitution.
I mean, keep in mind, majority of Latin America countries has some form of prostitution. Certain countries in Asia, maybe Thailand, I'm not too sure about the Philippines, whatever. As of this year, I decided, you know what, because I wanted to continue on reaching 50 countries, I was going to venture out to other countries. Granted, I do have a business home base in DR, So I have to be in DR in most cases. But going back to Colombia, I mean, I had fun in Colombia back in 2015, all the way to 2020 to 2021. I decided to explore my other options, man. I mean, I could care less if the country has S tourism or not. A lot of these countries has a lot to offer, man. Colombia is the size of Texas. I've been to 6 cities in Colombia. You've been to what, 12 cities in Colombia? So really, like, you know, when people think of Colombia, they think of Pacajeres, but Colombia has a lot more to offer than just Pacajeres. Same goes for Thailand. When I was in Thailand, dude, I went to Pattaya for like 2 days. After 2 days, I turned around, went back to Bangkok, then I flew to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. Again, these countries has a lot more to offer than what the perception of these countries are known for.
All right, so we're talking about image and perception, right? So, and I'm just gonna use this as I'm gonna answer your questions. I'm gonna use this as an example, right? So a politician, right? If we're politicians, right? And we're like, you know what? We're not passport bros. We're telling the public we're not passport bros. My record. If I'm running on that record, I'm not a passport bro. My record cannot be 10 trips to Colombia, 10 trips to Brazil, 10 trips to DR, multiple trips to Thailand in general. That can't be my record because the public is going to be like.
But my record has more than that.
We're focusing on this.
All right,
it's not like you got one country on your record. You have.
There's a difference between someone going to Colombia, DR, and Brazil. Let's use those 3 countries, and no 4 countries, and Thailand. They always going to Sosua, like DR. Every time he comes to DR, he strictly goes to Sosua. Look, yeah, you're not gonna get nothing out of Sosua. It's a one-stop shop for you to do what to do, go out there and have a good time and come back home. Now, if you say you went to DR and you went to like Santo Domingo, Santiago, Puerto Plata, Cabrera, other areas, that means you took the time to explore other areas. Just because a country is known for one thing doesn't necessarily mean that's the reason why you're going there.
That's not what I'm saying. Let me answer this question. He said, are Weekend Warriors passport bros?
Yes.
I mean, they can be. I mean, some people just got, they only got that time. Like I said, how I define passport bros, like I said, is based off of the movement, Charles Tyler movement, is guys that's done with, with women in the Matrix.
I just pull up the Urban Dictionary defining passport bros.
Man, go ahead.
Okay, men who understand that Western women have drunk the Kool-Aid, past the point of no return, and got their passport to enjoy happiness, peace with fit, friendly foreign women.
Somebody could have just put that on there. I'm not gonna. I'll put together a definition that applies to, like I said again.
Well, then you know what? We need more guys like you to get in the forefront and really define what's passport bros. Because right now, your fellow brothers out there are doing a poor piss job in representing passport bros. All I'm hearing is a bunch of men whining about modern women and why they're gonna go overseas. They got their passport. They're gonna go find a foreign woman. If that's the reason why you're traveling, then it's weak.
So was Charles Tyler? Was he whining? Was he whining?
Yeah. Look, at that point in time when I was listening to him, I was at a different place. Now, where I'm at mentally, if I were to hear him today, it was like, all right, whatever. But I think at that time his voice served a purpose in my life and hit the message. But look, I'm not saying the United States is great. Look, I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying that things are going to be perfect. However, you do have the right to explore your options. But there's ways of doing it. Just like, go out there and just explore it, man. But you leading way like, hey, complaining about it, about why you got your passport and you're going to make women jealous in the United States. It's kind of stupid, man. To be honest, most women don't even care. And the ones that do care are the fat, ugly ones.
Looking for love. Okay. I'm going to play this audio I played. I'm going to play this audio recorded. You know what I mean? And I want your response to it. I don't want to, I'm going to play it on the mic. Here's the thing, right? It's hypocrisy. Passport bros only exist because of what people put on social media. That's the only reason it exists. So if every man was just, moving on their own, but we was all doing the same thing, either whether it was paying for sex, whether it was looking for love, or whatever the case may be, if people caught wind of lots of men doing the same thing, they're going to call it something. It may not be passport bros. They're going to call it something if enough people notice enough men doing it. So regardless of if men was doing it on their own or don't want to be categorized, the point is that if people catch wind of men marrying out noticeably, people are going to call it something. Yes. So basically, there are more men, and I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come up. Zoe, anybody want to come up? I'm gonna drop the link.
Well, that's the thing. It's like before COVID. Before the pandemic, black men were traveling already. We were traveling in droves. It just something happened last year that made this word come out of the shell to define black men and traveling. But we've been doing this way before the pandemic started, way before this social media thing. So why now? Why now everyone is paying attention? But yeah, we were doing this. We were traveling as many and more than today.
Right. But my point is this. If there is whether men have been traveling already, that's neither here or there. If there are more men deciding they want to travel, because we see it, we see it. We see it on social media. We see a lot of young men saying, you know what, I'm woke up. I see how dating is. I'm going to get my passport. Austin Holloman, he's a young guy. So younger guys are starting to wake up. So and so there is some momentum. There is a movement because a lot of guys they want to participate in this travel. This travel, whether it's for dating relationships, whether it's for other opportunities, whether it's just to see what these guys are talking about. There are guys more traveling. So if there wasn't a name for it, people will call it. The point is, people will call it something because these guys are something is going on. These guys, we're seeing more marriages. We're seeing more. The State Department seeing more passports being applied for. They're seeing more black men traveling to certain countries. Something is going on. People are going to call it. It's something. We can't act like it doesn't exist. There is something going on where you see an increase of, especially westernized men traveling. Not the black, white, from the United States, from Europe, from all these, Canada. Colombia has so many, people visiting from Canada and Europe on top of Americans. So men are traveling more. If you take away passport bros, it doesn't take away the activity. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
So the fact that there's the activity of traveling, wherever you want to call it, we are all contributing to that statistic. So if there's an increase of men traveling to certain countries, if there's an increase of men getting passports, if there's an increase of men with foreign girlfriends, if there's an increase of men of foreign wives, we are contributing to that statistic. So we are part of and contributed to guys traveling. So whether it was a name or not, we all have something in common. That's the point I'm trying to get to. You might not say you might say I'm not a passport bro. Zoe may say I'm not a passport bro, but we have something in common. We have something in common when it comes to travel. It may not be all the same things. We have something in common. So the fact that we have something in common, it is something. You might not like that it's called Passport Bros. It could be called something else, but we all have something in common. You know what I mean? And that's the point I'm trying to get across.
Well, first I want to welcome Barber World TV. What's up, brother, man?
What's up, Barber World? I see a King Sigma in the background, man. You got a cam up because I have it. You're new, and I got to make sure, you know what I mean, you're not, a troll that's trying to, sabotage the stream. So if you can cam up.
He's canned up. I can see him.
No, I got somebody in the background.
Oh, okay.
King Sigma.
We can't hear you, Barber.
Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, I still can't hear him.
I can't hear you yet, Zoe. The name came from King Sigma from the Black Ministry. Is that you, Ash L? King Sigma? Let me know.
We can't hear you, Zoe. Your audio's not on.
Okay, he gonna come back.
Yeah, and again, I was able to pull out the numbers as of right now, based out of 2020 from the Department of Commerce. There's only 27% of Americans who have a passport. 27% of Americans. And again, if we were to break down the 27% to racial groups, blacks are probably less likely, or probably the least percentage of people who may own a passport, due to a lot of factors. It could be for financial reasons, criminal records, or just lack of access and resources and everything else. I think right now, men and women are traveling in general. I mean, when I travel, I see a lot of women traveling. I don't see a lot of guys traveling. And I don't see a lot of black men traveling. And again, when I think of Passport Bros, I'm thinking about black men. When I flew to Thailand, I was the only black guy on the plane.
All right, so let me get on that, and I'll get to you in a moment, King. So I'm glad you said that. So on the record, he just said when he thinks of Passport Bro, he thinks of black men, right?
Brothers, yeah, brothers.
He think of brothers. You know what I mean? He's a brother, but he distanced himself from it. But
hey, wait, hold on. Before you continue, no excuse, guys. I'm a traveler, just like y'all. All I say, listen, you could travel, see the world, but stop pumping your chest like you're doing something big and complaining about modern women. And that's the reason why you're traveling. I say go and travel, experience the world, have fun, do your thing. But you whining about what's going on in the Matrix is pointless, man. Unless you have a solution to leave and become a digital nomad or expat, dude, just do your thing and just stay quiet, man. What's the point of you going back and forth with people that's against your cause or whatever?
All right, cool. All right, so you trying to make me lose my train of thought. So you're saying that when you think of Passport Bros, you think of black men, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't that kind of sound unfair? Because some black men don't want to.
No, okay. Because the most people that we're hearing about Passport Bros and the most guys that are speaking the loudest are black men. I'm not hearing too many Hispanics, Asians, Indians claiming Passport Bros. If I were to Google Passport Bros right now, most of the feeds will be black guys talking about Passport Bros. Am I right or wrong?
You got a point, but this is something that's some hypocrisy, right? And I see it a lot of times with black men. So on one hand, you will say a lot of black men in general, they'll say black travelers will say, you know what? They associate Passport Bros with black men, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then there are some that say, you know what? I don't want to be called a passport bro. So it's like, all right, so you pick and choose who's a passport bro, and then you want to say you're not. But then you say white.
I'm going based on perception.
Hold on, let me finish. But all then right. a lot of guys say white men can't call themselves passport bros. So if you are a black man that feels like white men can't call themselves passport bros,
I didn't say that.
I'm just putting this out there.
Okay.
I'm just putting this out there. If you're someone of the mindset that say, you know what, white men can't call themselves passport bros, then it's hypocrisy, because how can you say what another group can call themselves if you don't even want to be associated with it? If you don't consider yourself a passport bro, then it shouldn't matter to you if other groups, let's say white, want to be passport bros.
It doesn't matter to me. I said the perception, the current perception out there. If I were to like Google or YouTube search passport bros, you see a black face. I don't see other ethnic groups claiming it.
Can I interject?
Go ahead, bro.
Well, thanks for having me on. One of my people sent me the link, said I should come through. So many people that came into this space after 2019 are not aware that I'm the one that was behind the hashtag Passport Bros. So apparently you guys have some questions for me. I'm here to answer whatever you need, because I can give you the full history, because I came around this space in 2018, and everything before that is more representative of Charles Tyler. But after 2018, that's when the Passport Bro hashtag began. It was something that I pushed on purpose because I was learning about different travel content creators, and me being from the Black Manosphere space, I'm always been more about solutions. So when you talk about the Black Manosphere 2.0 guys, those are guys that came through around 2013 to 2015. They had a pretty definite idea of what they were trying to do. But a lot of men came into this space much later after that, and we had different ideas about what the best option was for Black American men in terms of dealing with the American social structure, dealing with the sexual marketplace, and the kind of pressures that Black men have. When I started talking to the brothers, that they didn't call themselves Passport Bros. I started calling them Passport Bros. They just called themselves traveling men. You had, I think that Charles Tyler died like the year before I came around. And so he had like a crew of people, but you have to understand, the most of the travel conversation was happening on Facebook. TikTok wasn't around at that time. I don't even think TikTok came around until 2020 or something like that. So you got to understand that on YouTube, it was the red pill conversation. Then you had the general manosphere. Then you had the smaller Black manosphere. But the travel conversation was a very, very minuscule part of the conversation. That was happening on Facebook. Those guys hadn't made the jump from Facebook to YouTube yet. They kind of came through in 2019, the end or either beginning of 2020. So when I was saying Passport Bros, it was actually referring specifically to Black men that said, to hell with the American dating market. I'm going to go elsewhere and find a woman, specifically someone outside of the Western culture. So that was the root of it. It was always originated with Black people. We spread the hashtag Passport Bros starting with small Black channels here on YouTube. That's how it started. I purposely pushed the hashtag Passport Bros to try to congregate the information from traveling men to see if it would pick up. Yes, Jonas is the missing link in this conversation. It was Yes Jonas who had like a whole library of content related to travel. He had an ideology, but it was called MWIAC. Men want women in other countries. So when him and I crossed paths through the Black Manosphere, he said, I like that hashtag and that because it triggers, it's catchy. So he ran with it because my content is not travel based. I'm more into thinking Black men content. But yes, he liked the tag so much, he started blowing it up. Now, what happened is that conversation kind of hit a peak in August and September 2019. Because what happened is that through me pushing hashtag Passport Bros in the YouTube algorithm, what I call the Plantation Bros came. That's when they started to hate on the Passport Bros, or at the time just traveling Black men, and they started putting out this defamation. We termed that Passport Gate. So if you go on YouTube and you enter hashtag Passport Gate, what you'll find is that was the first wave of what now is crescending in 2023. But we had this situation before, back in the fall of 2019, where a collection of anti-passport content creators got together and they were trying to take out the movement or the lifestyle, quote unquote, here on YouTube before it got started. So we were able to pretty much refute everything that they put out at that time, and the Passport Gate thing died out. That was the first time that the hashtag Passport Bros entered the algorithm in a major way. But because they backed off, because they saw that the content was growing pretty quickly, the Passport Bro conversation died down as far as like among Black YouTubers. But what happened is that the missing link was Yes Jonas, because he never changed his content, but he changed the name of his content to Passport Bros. But he bridged the conversation from YouTube to TikTok. So if you want to know the bridge, you have to go talk to Yes Jonas about that, because he started putting his content on TikTok and it grew exponentially very, very fast. That introduced the hashtag Passport Bros to the younger generation of guys who you're starting to see come over to YouTube that are in their early 20s. So that's a brief history of how the hashtag Passport Bros came about.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I want to respond. Can you hold your question for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
For a second. All right. So I know. Let me see something real quick. Google is a good. Google is a good source. You can search the history of the use of a word and sort by year and filter by year and things like that. So just so people are not confused, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're not discussing, or at least on this topic, we're not discussing the originator of the phrase Passport Bros or who first hashtagged it on, let's say, YouTube. You know what I mean? That stuff can probably be searched to see who actually first hashtagged it. So what I'm hearing is who is behind it going viral. You know what I mean? Who?
Yes, Jonas.
No, I'm speaking in third person to the audience. So what King Sigma was alluding to is who made it go viral. So not necessarily who was the first to use the hashtag, or not the first person or the creator, is who is responsible for making it go viral, which different people may have different opinions on the importance of that. So in my opinion, and from what I see, is that yes, Jonas definitely have went viral on TikTok, talking about travel and things like that. He didn't go viral hashtagging Passport Bros, because I followed a lot of his content. He was not using the hashtag Passport Bros. Now the movement in itself, yes, I give him credit, and I would give credit to Austin Holloman too, because they both got viral on TikTok with their videos as it relates to travel, specifically Black men traveling. So yes, Jonas gets credit for that. I give also credit to Austin Holloman as far as making it go, mainstream as far as travel. So there are different, I don't want to get too far off, but there are different segments or different paths people came into the light of travel. You mentioned Charles Tyler. I got Black Man Travels. We are in circles and know people that we know who's who in the travel game that travels heavy. There's people like and I wish Yes Jonas could come up. There's people like Yes Jonas. I'm not familiar with Yes Jonas. You know what I mean? I've seen his channel before. I'm not familiar with him from a historical aspect, as far as the Facebook groups, in particular WhatsApp groups. You know what I mean? And then there's people like Barbara World. I met him, but we met in Brazil like a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? I've seen his YouTube. I've seen him, but I didn't know who he was outside of like you mentioned, the Facebook history, the Facebook group. So there's a lot of people that are responsible for Black men traveling. Some guys may have not had the platform. Some guys may have been doing it on different platforms. So I don't want to get into I don't want to get into who gets credit for what, who's responsible for this, because there's so many hands, there's so many people that play a part into what
I
we
have
call
to
the
disagree
movement.
with you on that though, because I think that what you're missing out on is that there is no question who created the hashtag. If you go back to YouTube and push in hashtag Passport Bros, hashtag Passportgate, it's me. My channel was the rally point for Passportgate. I caused Passportgate because of when I pushed
Well, we
Passport.
don't know what Passportgate is because people don't know what that is. We talking about
Most people know what that is. Most people know what Passportgate is. It was one of the bigger moments on Black YouTube back in 2019. So people know what it is. It's in the algorithm. It was hundreds of hours of content that was done between Black Red Pillars and this anti-travel group that arose at the end of 2019. So people know about it because it was a big moment. It was a lot of bandwidth.
I don't know about it. I never heard of it. I mean,
so what time? At what point did you come to YouTube? So that's the question. Did you?
I mean,
but the point is, my bad, bro. But this is the point. Like it's getting lost, like to the message and the movement. Okay, somebody, I didn't create the word Passport Bros. I wasn't the first one that used the hashtag Passport Bros.
I was going to ask you, what is Passportgate? Because I never heard that term before. And regardless,
but I asked you a question on, you didn't answer.
Yeah, because he was speaking. He was speaking. I'm going to ask you a question. I've never heard of Passportgate. Passport Bro, I just heard of it as of late last year.
Okay.
Most of the guys that you referenced, I didn't know about until this year. So it's just like there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that's been part of this traveling circuit way before social media.
Oh no, I'm not doubting that. No.
And wait, hold up. And the thing is like even before Charles Tyler, there were other pioneers before him that were talking about traveling via podcast radio. We're
having two different conversations though. See, I thought the question was about the origin of Passport Bro, not actually travelers. It's no question Black men have been traveling since all the ancient wars. I thought you guys were talking about specifically the origin of Passport Bros and what that was about. I didn't know that you were just about Black men traveling. No, Passport Bros came about after 2018. Everything else before that, they didn't use it. Okay, for example, Al Breeze was just interviewed on Jason Whitlock. He said he's not a Passport Bro. I don't disagree with that because he doesn't come from that conversation. He was prior to the Passport Bro term. So that makes sense that he would say that. So if you're talking about people that came in before 2018, they're not going to relate to that term. Now that it's gone through TikTok, now we're having this big conversation about the Passport Bros. But it just now went viral.
Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna let my brother Zoe speak and Solo Traveler speak and Rona Traveler Alex speak too. Here's the thing, right? We are familiar with Charles Tyler and his message, right? Charles Tyler was about escaping the Matrix. Al Breeze is too, but Charles Tyler and Al Breeze, they did not talk about, advocate, or promote pay for play, aka prostitution. They were about relationships, genuine interactions with women overseas. You know what I mean? That was that. And like you said, it was not called Passport Bros. Now, what happened was, so I'll put it like this. I did an interview on O'Shea's channel, right? We were talking about the DR. And he was saying, you know what, those dating coaches, they have a lot to say about y'all Passport Bros. This was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And so the dating coaches, they started using Passport Bros in their rhetoric towards Black men as traveling. And so the reason why dating coaches started calling or using Passport Bros in a negative sense was because they started seeing more and more Black men display their activities on social media. So the rise of Passport Bros is because of the action of Black men displaying their actions on social media, specifically YouTube. Yes. So that in essence is the hashtag Passport Bro,
which came from Passportgate. Again,
and that's fine.
What I'm saying is that when you talk about the dating coaches, that was part of what caused the Passport Gate little war that we had was because the dating coaches and other anti-travel guys got upset because the traveling men were showing women in other countries. Now, when you mentioned the whole thing about like the pay for play, that was never any part of the conversation that we were having. This pay for play thing came about just in the last year. No, it was never about men doing it for that reason. We were telling men not to leave with your wallet. We were telling men to actually go over to these countries, move correctly, and do what you need to do without paying for pay. That came about over the last year because that was mostly a smear against traveling black men. It was a straw man that the opposition created, but no one that
I agree with that. I agree with you on that. So there's no doubt. We understand each other. I get what you're trying to educate on, but we at the end of the day we still understand each other. But let me get some of my peoples in. I want to get International Zoe Barber World TV for blessing the the podcast, man. Salute, man. What you got for us, bro?
I kind of lost traction because I was trying to get my signal straight. So I'm trying to catch up where y'all took off and the conversation took a little turn. But I think I had said it once before. I think YouTubers inspired a lot of people to travel, period. Mm-hmm. And some people could say it's good or bad, but people seeing people actually doing it and showing the videos of being in these countries, having fun, letting people know where to stay, let them know what their options are as far as tourist attractions, as far as nightlife, what the ladies look like. That inspired men to travel as of lately in the last 4 years more than anything, I believe, more than a name, more than a movement. The actual YouTubers, I would have to say that Marwar inspired me. Ace Live inspired me. And their channels were not about, what things are today. I was just in Colombia. I probably met like 20 dudes that literally said, you are the reason why I'm here, for good or bad, and, whatever you might think. But some people said, you're the reason why I started traveling, period. So and I've started traveling, I've been traveling for a long time, like most people on this. And that's the only reason why I would say I don't consider myself a passport bro, because to me, the lifestyle or the movement didn't inspire me. I was already doing it, before that. And that's the only reason. And I don't have a problem. People make comments and refer to me as a passport bro. I don't make a big deal over it. I feel genuine in saying that I don't feel like I'm a passport bro because that's not what inspired me to travel, so I just feel like I'm beyond that. It's like I'm from hip hop and some people making trap music, you know what I'm saying? Some people making, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm more hip hop than the current genres of rap music. So that's why I don't consider myself a passport bro. And I think you will see a lot of new travelers embrace the passport bro terminology. I can see it, but it's all good. That's all. I don't have, and the only problem I ever thought that would possibly be is could be used to target us. You know what I mean? And it has been used to target us, and everybody's been thrown in there in one group as a passport bros. And that would be cool if it had a good, if the aura around it was good, but the aura around it is good and bad. And I never wanted them to be able to target us in one group. That's why I was always like leery about embracing a name, because we don't all fit under that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But everybody who says they are, everybody who carries the name, I mean, we're all travelers at the end of the day and having fun and exploring our options. So I got love for everybody, but that was the only distinction to me, that I was like, I felt like I'm before that movement. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I said I don't consider myself a passport bro.
But if we got something in common when it comes to travel, not everything in common, but we have certain things in common, people,
No doubt. Like I said, people might refer to me as a passport bro, and I don't I don't, I'm not getting mad like, yo, don't call me a passport, bro, because I know I'm going to be lumped in with it because, everybody who's traveling, especially if you're black, you're going to be called a passport bro now. You know what I'm saying? And we can say I'm not a passport bro, but we're going to be called the passport bro. So I guess the best thing to do is we can try to clean up the image.
Let me get Solo Traveler ORD. What's good, bro? You on mute or you on? I can't hear you. Not yet. You unmuted, but I can't hear you. Can't hear you yet. Let me get Run and Travel with Alex, man. Let me unmute you.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what Zoe just finished saying, man, because at the end of the day, I came through the military. That's when I started traveling. I started traveling way before a lot of this stuff even started. I was actually 3 years old in the reference to Black Man Travels. I was flying out of Baltimore, New York. My mom was taking us everywhere on the Caribbean coast and down in South America. So I have been traveling all my life. I'm 55. There's no way you're going to lump me in with just a group of people randomly just because I'm a brother that travels. I'll advocate for everybody traveling. And most military men, if you meet them, most likely they're going to advocate for you to actually see the world because then you have a better appreciation for America when you come back here. But you'll also notice that when you go on travels and you come back to America, it seems like your whole town stood still. But you had all the experiences. You coming back a lot wiser. You coming back a lot of different things that are beneficial. So that's why military guys always have advocated for us brothers to travel, especially because, we have a bad rap. And the media produces that bad rap in movies and everything else. So you have other cultures looking at movies, making generalizations on who we are as brothers until they meet us. And then they realize we not all that they imagine us to be. We're actually better. So that's the benefit, But I would say with Passport Brothers, and we've had this conversation, Rob, somebody needs to take control of that name. I know you have a copyright, but there needs to be a guideline. If you're going to use that name, you got the trademark. But I'm saying there needs to be some unity between all these different factions within the Passport Bros to come up with a standard. And everybody adheres to that standard and not letting the narrative be controlled by the media and other people that are anti-Passport Bro, making their own definition of what they want to define you as. If y'all can't rein that in, it's always going to have a negative connotation because you got females that are just hating on brothers traveling when they've been doing it all this time.
But you also
you do have other options.
But you do also have a lot of females. But you also have a lot of females now. It's the tide is kind of starting to change now. I've noticed over the last week. You have a lot of people, actually women themselves, siding with the Passport Bros and saying that you women have been down there being Stellas, and it's women themselves that are providing the evidence showing. There was just a clip of a Black American woman in Jamaica demanding that Jamaican men give her head on a beach. And the Jamaican dudes were like, "Nah, we're not." Yes. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I've noticed that when it comes to Black male media, we always have this problem when it comes to, because we're a small group and we're just now beginning to have like a media footprint that we control the narrative. We're always going to have that misandrist opposition until we get bigger. But I do get what you're saying. But at the same time, before the term Passport Bros, right, what caused us, what you would call like the Black Red Pillars, to come to the defense of the traveling man was because there was an incident back in like the end of 2017 or so where a dude that was traveling got caught up in some kind of sex stuff. And it was a big deal made by those that hate Black men just in general. So what happened is that they were using this character whose name I won't mention because everyone knows who I'm talking about. And they used him to smear traveling men. At the time, there wasn't no Passport Bros. You know what they called you guys? Predators, child molesters, and pedophiles.
Be sensitive on the YouTube words.
Yeah, so those were the words being used to describe traveling men back at the end of 2017 and 2018. So what happened, we saw it as a threat to all black men, not just those that are traveling or even got a passport. If one black man can be smeared for a crime that he didn't commit because of maybe one person out of a million did something, that's a threat to all of them. So that's how
King, I get the history lesson, but the whole thing is, if that's been going on since 2017 and we still haven't gotten a grip on what a passport bro is, that's our problem.
No, what I'm saying, no.
Listen. You've made points. Let me make mine. Now, if people would control the narrative of what a true passport bro is and not let anybody discredit us, then that is how you control the narrative on who you are as a person. Okay, you got, unfortunately, for some reason, men still bow down to women enough to let them say whatever the hell they want. Okay, and let them get away with damn near anything in America. Okay, they're the ones defining who passport bros are louder than we are, and that's a problem. Between all these different factions within the passport bro, there needs to be some unification and control on the name. And anybody trying to discredit it without facts needs to be held accountable for it.
We can't even control the manosphere. We can't even control the manosphere.
There is no hierarchy for anybody to be held accountable for any misgivings on when somebody says something about passport bros. Who's going to react to it?
But I think
who's going to react to it?
Here's the thing:
there is nobody to react to. Is the
lot of people are reacting. Okay,
no.
the brother whose channel this is,
they're all individual voices. That's the point. There is no unity.
So if you're calling for big time passport bro influencers to get together, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that there's still a small percentage of the population, and you're going to have opposition. All you could do is stick to the truth of what it is and put out your information. But you're not going to be able to control every aspect of it because it's already out. The bull's already out the pin because of TikTok. It exploded so fast that you're not going to be able to get it under control in the way that you're
Here's the thing. Why won't you guys just do a better job in telling the story and showing receipts? Because all I'm seeing right now is a lot of talk. And most of the guys that so-called consider passport bros influencers, I don't see receipts at all. So besides a few guys within your movement are really showing what traveling actually is, the rest of you guys are just talking fluff, man. Just fluff. And it's always around a woman. Why is that?
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that part.
Let me move it around real quick. I want to get
Yeah.
Solo traveler in. Hopefully his audio good.
Yeah, I think my audio should be good. Let me know if it's good or not.
It's good.
All right, thanks. So I want to say what up to the panel. No excuse, Black Man Travel, King Sigma, Barber World TV. I'm glad we're actually on the same panel.
Yeah.
And rolling and traveling, man.
Yeah, we gotta get up.
So this is what I want to say. I'm gonna make it quick because you know that it's a weeknight and I got a lot of things going on. But when it comes down to the whole passport bro using the name and so forth, I agree with Barber World. Of course, we all came before that whole passport bro name being used or so forth. But at the same time, I believe that no matter what we do, we're still going to be associated with that. No matter how much we try to distance ourselves from that, it's already out there, no matter how you slice it. Because of the fact that if they see you traveling, that's all they know. That's what it is. And I agree with Ronan and King Sigma. I think that we should all come together. We're going to have to come together to try to fix that, to make that have no bad connotation with that name, because of the fact that no matter what we do, whether we're making YouTube videos or just traveling, we're still going to be associated with it. And like I tell everybody about my whole situation, how I feel about it, I'm not a passport bro. I'm a traveler. However, I know they still going to define me as that, no matter what. And I want to say two more things. The fact is, I believe the passport bro, that whole thing, I believe it's a movement, no matter what. It's because of the fact that it's bringing in a lot of people who are not travelers and are new to traveling. So I believe it's a movement. I stand on that. But all of us that have been doing it for a long time, we're still travelers. It's a way of life. It's our lifestyle. So we've been doing this for years, whether it be 5, 4, 10, 15, whatever. This is what we do. We travel at least once every 3 months, at least. So it becomes to be a lifestyle. And last thing, what I want to say is that, I know that we touched on this before, whatever, or you guys did, but I just want to jump in and talk about this. The reason why we're seeing such an explosion of this whole movement, or people using the passport bro, the name and so forth, is the fact that ever since the death of Kevin Samuels, a lot of brothers saw how a lot of the women were reacting after his death. And a lot of them they stated that because they saw how a lot of women were acting, they didn't want to deal with women in the States anymore, and they were looking for an outlet. And that's where they fell into the whole passport bro, traveling whole stuff that's going on, because of the fact that they said they were done with American women indefinite. So and last thing I want to say, shouts out to Brazil, yes, because I don't know if you guys seen what he said today. Now he's actually announced that if you don't want to be associated with passport bro, and as well as you're a traveler, whatever, just use the travel. I think what he said, travel zone or something like that. If you want to use
Travel
that
safe.
as a
Travel safe or something like that. He said something. I saw it, but I didn't see it.
Travel
But I know what you're saying.
Trouble space.
But that's
travel
let me just say one thing. That's why when it first came out, I said, I don't know if we should use this name, because this is what's going to happen. Before, I have never said the women over here are better. I've never said I ain't messing with women in America. I've never said anything like that on my channel.
Hold on. You can hold on real quick. You can do it with your actions, but
no.
let me
just listen. If I'm in the country, I'm having fun. I do the same thing in every country. I show the tourist attractions. I show the nightlife. I show some girls. That's what my channel is about. And I do some barber stuff, but I kind of got bored with that. So my actions is just me. That's what I like to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's other people who don't show girls. You know what I'm saying? And that's those YouTubers. But I like women. I'm going to show women. I got an eye for talent.
Yeah, you do. I
So that's what I do. That's my hook. You understand? Now, other people might have tried to copy that format or parts of that format, and that's cool. But I don't listen. Any man gonna go somewhere and have fun, and girls is always the icing on the cake. So if you can make that happen, of course you're gonna make that happen. If you anywhere for a month, for 2 weeks, you're gonna want some cutty. You know what I'm saying? Like any normal dude, if you're single, you're gonna want some cutty, even if you're not single. So yes, you're gonna go to the country with the beautiful women, with the beaches, and it all plays in part. But you don't get credit for going to London, to Lisbon, Portugal, to Barcelona, Spain. You don't get credit for going to all those other places. Those videos don't do that good.
Yeah.
Because I've been to like 35 countries, and I did the same thing. I went out in Portugal. I went out in Tanzania. All these places I do the same thing. But yeah, where the girls is hot, you're going to get more views there. And those countries are the easiest countries to go to. You know what I'm saying? They really are the close. Besides Brazil, all of Panama, Costa Rica, all those are easy trips. Those are cheap trips. Those are close trips. And most of us are familiar with any language outside of English is Spanish. Even if we don't speak it well, we're more familiar. Our ears are a little more familiar with Spanish. So those are going to be naturally the countries we go to. Yeah, those are fun countries. Those are entry-level countries.
Yeah.
That's where everybody starts at. But if you're serious about it, you go outside of that. And you still go back because you done built some relationships over time. You know what I'm saying? And you know your way around.
Right. And on top of that, And on top of that, if you're a content creator, you are influencing people. You are influencing them, one way or the other. Okay. So my thing is this, like I can't say who is or who isn't a passport bro. I can only define it based on the history and how I've seen the movement go. And part of the foundation was black men being frustrated. Al agrees. Now, I haven't seen the interview he did, and I have a lot of respect for the brother and a lot of things that he's done. If he went on camera and said he's not a passport bro, he's fair in saying that. However, he started the Frustrated series. So if a group of, let's say women, a group of black women asked him, was his frustration part of the reason why he traveled? Like he has to own, he would have to own that, right? So if when people start putting together the dots, okay, let's say Charles Tyler, Al Grease, people I consider pioneers. Being frustrated was part of their reason for traveling, being frustrated, right? Let's say myself, when I started traveling, resonated with those brothers, that resonated with the Frustrated series videos. There's a lot of black men that have some form of frustration that have resorted to travel. That frustration leading to travel is a movement.
But my thing is, why do you need a title? Why do you need to be put into a category?
That ain't got nothing to do with me. The title ain't got nothing to do
No. I'm
with
not
me.
saying you in general, but this whole passport bro thing. Like, why do you need it? What's the point of it?
Who's that question towards though?
I mean, towards the pro passport bros. Like,
because passport bros was used as basically calling us the N-word from like opposition. That's how it was being used.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it was a connotation to say that we were nigga.
No, because dating coaches was referring to us as like Shay, like those passport bros or those guys that's showing off.
I don't think they started saying it until we started, till the community started saying it. Because honestly, when I was traveling, I never heard that terminology. I think I heard you and Aaron as the first persons I heard say it and use it, and I didn't think it was going to become a big deal, but I heard it used, and I didn't know that it was connected to men being frustrated. I didn't know it was connected to the Charles Tyler movement, but now that you said it, I can understand it because you and Aaron came from up under that cloth.
Right.
I was never frustrated in America. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
thanks for saying that, man. Thanks for saying that.
My reason for traveling had nothing to do with me being disenchanted with black women in America. My reason for traveling is I just like to travel.
Exactly.
I like to travel. Yeah, I like women, but
I said the same thing though.
All I was traveling for was women.
Nah, but this dude right here, this brother right here,
tour.
He's speaking to the guys that I was speaking to in 2018 tonight. These are guys that were not frustrated necessarily with American women, but they were saying, the world is open to me. I'm a global citizen. So I want access to every woman on the planet that my means and my mind can take me to. He gets it.
Right.
Well, we all get that. We all get that.
We all get that. Nobody's.
I literally said the same thing what Zoe said earlier. Again, I was never frustrated living here in the United States. I make good money here. I was traveling before. I was traveling when I was married, and I was traveling after, right after my divorce. Right. I'm not jaded. I'm not like, going against the modern women, and that's the reason why I'm traveling to find a subservient, submissive woman. No, that's not my reason why I'm traveling. I travel because I love to travel.
Right. When we connect the dots, though, I mean, I don't connect the dots with Zoe with Charles Tyler or Al Grease because I didn't see him from that aspect. A lot of black men travel, solo traveler. I could connect the dots with y'all as far as by association. Now, yes, you've had prior traveling, and you may have not been frustrated. But what I'm saying is that regardless of what you say, there is circumstantial evidence that could say otherwise.
But is that passport bro or is that mongering? That's two different things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's I think you mixing the thing up because some brothers is traveling and mongering, and some brothers is traveling, so-called looking for wives. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the same thing. You know what I mean? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't necessarily because you see people in mongering countries that makes them a passport brother. They just like to get some cutty while they in countries.
That's a good point. That's a
So
good point.
that don't make you a passport bro per se. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where
an attack.
it comes down to clean up the image, because I know a lot of mongers had took on and was hiding behind the umbrella of the passport bro. And basically they were using the ones that was looking for wives and things of that nature, and still using that passport bro the name and so forth. So that's why I think it'll come down to us to unify and basically clean it up and keep it good. Although we're not a passport bro, we're not. But
The biggest thing is stop putting up videos of you hanging around a whole bunch of chicks. Why is that so important?
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that.
First of all, to me, that means you're a beta male. If you got to brag about the chicks that you hang around, that puts me as you're a beta male. Because an alpha male wouldn't even have to do that. It's already known that they're going to be able to pull a woman no matter whether they're in America or they're somewhere overseas.
Well, I think
But,
that's
But listen, you're making content, and everybody knows
I
a
get
female
that,
on
but
the
it's a certain
thumbnail
type of way that you can
is gonna
make
get
content,
confused.
still show how beautiful women are, but not in that situation. You get what
But
I'm
you
saying?
also you
Like
probably
Zoe, you do a great job at it. Zoe,
Thank
you do
you. I try to be in the middle.
Hey Zoe, I mean, you know what? I want to chime in, Zoe. There's a new YouTuber. He's somewhat trying to copy your format with the ladies. And I saw this one video. It was so cringy, man. I was like, wow, this is kind of like, slash, you could get in trouble type of thing. And it was just like, it was dark and cringy looking. And it's just like, everyone's just trying to copy a formula to get subscribers. You have a formula that works for you, for your platform.
Yeah,
But also too, you talk about history, you talk about food and culture and everything else. My thing is with the Passport Bros, you have a lot of guys with these platforms that are not traveling. They're not traveling. They just talk about Passport Bro, and it's like, well, go find a wife. Like, dude, you don't even have a passport. You're not even traveling. How can you talk about something about traveling and you don't even leave the country? That's my issue.
And it's
Dude,
still
but there's only so much power you can exercise. First off, YouTube is a freemium platform. Okay, if cats are gonna appear and try to be parasites onto anything. I've seen this with many waves that have come through where people that don't have nothing to do with the topic, they see an opportunity to make a couple of pennies and they jump on every wave. But you guys are right. The most influential travelers do have to make it clear, because again, you may say, I'm not a passport, bro, like Al Gree said, but unfortunately, the opposition outnumbers you out 100-1. And they've tried to paint that picture. So you got to do the work of saying, yo, this ain't a pay for play movement. This ain't a movement that's about the American domestic woman. This is a movement about black male choice. And that's about it.
That's why I was saying they should stop, because too many of them was talking about negatively about American women. And even when I say something about that, they always saying, well, what about American women be this and that? And I say like this: when American women say bad things about black men, it goes through one ear and out the other, because they not talking about me. I don't relate to the things they saying. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a deadbeat dad, nothing. I was married. You know what I'm saying? So the stuff they be saying, I ain't dusty. You know what I'm saying? So things they were saying, I don't know why some brothers are getting offended, because for me, I was like, I don't relate to none of that stuff they saying. So it doesn't even bother me. You know what I'm saying? But some people stress the fact that, but what about the black woman and how bad they talk about the black man? Maybe some of the men they talking about, they got rights to talk about like that. But I feel like the men that they're referring to, it's not me. So it doesn't bother me. I don't even know what they're talking about. That's
I agree with that. I want to ask you all a question.
I'm gonna drop off.
All right, so
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate me on.
Peace, brother.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I want to ask y'all a question real quick. So if there's such a big negative connotation around passport bros associated being with black men, then why are there so many black men that have an issue when they try to associate passport bros with white, let's say white men, or if other groups of men want to call themselves passport bros? It's like black people. It's like we're trying to have it both ways.
I don't care about the white dudes and Asian dudes calling themselves passport bros, but you have to. Only thing I would say is be careful, because I see some of them saying it, but it's almost like satire. They're not seriously wanting to be down with that. It's like some of them seem to be like clowning the name.
And they don't
Some of the
really need
videos that I saw.
I totally agree.
That's the
White
problem
men don't
that
need
I be like a little leery about. Like, is he trying to be serious? Like, there's an old white guy doing it, and it's like another Asian guy, and I'm like, is he being serious that he really considers himself a passport brother, or is he trying to clown us?
I
Okay.
think some of them are serious. I think that it's kind of like the hip hop thing. I think that black men have an ability to make things cool and make things controversial. And it's always going to be like, you know, white dudes, Asian dudes that kind of attach themselves to anything that black men are doing because they kind of just see us as cool. But when it comes to them calling themselves that, my whole thing has always been, we used to call the white dudes that travel passport brads. But the main thing has always been that white men don't need passport bros. White men don't need Charles Tyler. White men have traveled the world, been on some colonized. They've done everything. They don't need any kind of title. Everyone just assumes it with them. So it's really a question of if they want to associate themselves with what's going on, fine. But at the end of the day, the public is always going to think when they hear passport bros, they're still going to think black men because that's how we talk, like bros.
And we the ones who, I don't know who exactly coined it, but we the ones who
coined
coined it.
passport bros. It was me.
I know, but we know somebody black coined it. You know what I'm saying?
See, my issue, I'm gonna let you guys respond, but my thing is that I have a channel, right? I have a podcast, you know what I mean? And so, you know, you guys that have channels, you guys have or aiming to have a diverse channel. You know what I mean? That's the only way you're going to be able to grow and to be profitable. And so some people treat my podcast as a black channel. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Because sometimes our conversations are pertaining to black people, or people talk about how black men are this or that, desired. And, you know what I mean? So as a channel, it's like, okay, why do we have to brand? I'm just using my channel as an example, but you know, I want diversity just like any other content creator.
Let me give you a word of advice, brother.
Uh-huh.
People like authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
We never tried to cater to everybody when we made hip hop. We made hip hop, and everybody came to us. You don't have to try and diversify your channel. People are going to resonate with you, and that's it. Be true to who you are. We always trying to make our shit multicultural and all that. Nah, do what you do, and if they want to be down, they be down. I had some other than black men say, hey, Zoe, I like your channel too, but you make it seem like you're only talking to the black man. I said, listen, I call everybody a brother when I meet them. Hey, what's up, brother? I said, I can only be true to what I am. What I know is the black experience. I can't act like I know everybody else's experience. So if you down with it, cool. And even if I'm subjugated to a black channel, whatever, it's all good. I'm only being true to myself. So I would say, don't worry about that. You know, let it be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, nobody caters to black people. We still buy everybody's stuff and spend our money with everybody and watch everybody else's stuff. So we don't have to cater to nobody else. Just do what you do. And those that want to be, white guys, Asian guys come up to me everywhere I'm at. I watch your channel. I'm in Thailand. I'll be surprised sometimes. Indian guys, I love your channel. Yeah, you could say my channel was more based on a black experience, the topics, and you know what I'm saying? So, but they still watch the channel. So I'm telling you, don't worry about it.
Okay.
See, I feel like everyone is saying all these things now, but before Austin Holloman got, put on blast by the media, the negative connotation wasn't as strong.
Yeah.
The reason that the negative connotation really blew up was that they tried to make Austin Holloman, he's the leader of the passport, bro.
Poster child, yeah.
Yeah, but he was at least smart enough to say, I'm just a member, it's just a hashtag, and he's right about that. But there are some things you're just not going to be able to control. Again, they tried to make him the face of degeneracy and all this stuff. At the same time, while they were trying to make him the face of degeneracy, you had a white Texan decapitate a Colombian woman, and I haven't really heard much of anything on it.
Austin got way more burn than that.
I haven't heard anything about it. But yet, Austin Holloman, he's been all over the airwaves. This guy is doing these things over here. He never broke no crime. oh, he's a passport bro. But the actual dudes that are doing crime, they don't got anything to say about that. So I'm just saying that a black man, you got your uniform, and you could try to say that you're not a passport bro, you're a passport bro. You just got to try to make sure that you're an ambassador for black men whenever you're anywhere in the world. And if you do that, the passport bro name will actually become clean eventually. This is just temporary, man.
Right. And
So-
I would say focus on the good things. When brothers be saying, "Oh, the women in America is this, that, and the third," I just think I would just say show by example. Brothers don't have to say the women over here is better. Just show yourself being happy. And if you marry one or you date one, just show yourself being happy. You don't have to say, I had to come over here to get this because I can't get it in America. You know, show and prove. You don't got to say it. You know what I'm saying?
Now, somebody asks, I mean, can you be honest?
Offer dissing the American women when they not even asked. You know what I mean? It's almost like they gloating about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Austin was doing a little bit. Like he was gloating about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's why he got attacked when something happened and they had an opportunity to attack him. They was waiting for him. You know what I mean?
So were there any other guys that were influential in the travel community, or was it just Austin? Because to me, it seems like it was more just an attack on him. That most of the guys that I've come across that are true passport bros, again, when I say passport bros, I'm referring to men wanting women in foreign countries. These are men that are not concerned about the domestic American woman. So
Right.
what I'm noticing is that a lot of the stuff with TikTok and a lot of the viral stuff, this is not dudes that travel. These are not dudes that have a passport. These dudes that don't even have a job. They don't even have any woman of any, but they glue themselves on to whatever the wave is. So I think we have to be careful to separate those that are really making moves out here versus the parasites that jump on every wave.
Yeah, that's true. But
You know what?
that got in trouble and hit the media. So of course they use him as an example. I told you those dudes was up to no good. I told you they was out there, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Nobody else really got in trouble where they could say, point the finger. Because if somebody else could have got in trouble, and he had a lot of traction, but he was actually, you know, with his actions, it was almost like he was, you know, asking for it. You know what I mean? Like, so.
All right, Zoe, here's a question then. Okay, when hip hop first came out, what corporations wanted to touch hip hop?
They didn't know what to do with it.
No one knew anything. And so
They didn't know what it was.
I'm trying to make the case that anything that black men create, I'm telling you, no one wants to touch it at first, and they go out of their way to undermine it. When Public Enemy and all those guys came out, they tried to, oh, these guys are savages, they're thugs, they're criminals. Now here we are 25, 30 years later, hip-hop is everywhere. I see Snoop Dogg on TV with Martha Stewart. And what I'm saying is that the Passport Bro hashtag has proven to be good branding. Yes, it has gotten some mud slung on it. But if brothers just stay true to the original message, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna come out real well. I'm talking movies. I appreciate that the brother got the trademark and that he took it and he saw the future of it, because we were doing it just to protect all black men. So I think that
hold on real quick. I'm not the only one. There's some other. You can trademark for different things. So there's other people.
There's different classes with trademarks. So
that's
capitalism. T-shirts, it could be for coffee mugs. All of those are separate trademarks. So you better get your money together and get all the classes.
You're right about that one.
In different countries.
I'm on it.
So I know Black Man Travel's gonna say something. Go ahead, bro.
No, I just wanted to chime in what Zoe was saying. Is like, you know, what's the point of you downplaying sisters or women within the United States for you to just go travel and explore your options? I say, listen, don't say anything. Like for me, I actually get more women hitting my DMs because I am traveling, because I'm showing the culture, I'm showing the food and what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I'm smiling in my pictures. I got more DMs from sisters in the States than anything. So, and the fact that I'm not afraid to talk about my travels. How many guys could actually say, you know what, I've been to a certain country and you could talk about it besides just talking about the women? Not too many guys could do that. So again, it really depends on how you move. Like these guys right now that's claiming passport bros, man, you guys are just complaining about modern women and how you're going to use your passport to find a woman. But let's just keep it real. And Zoe, you can speak on this. Roland, no excuse. Most of the guys, when they go to these countries, they're not messing with regular women. They're out there doing their, pay for play, and that's and they come back home. Most of the guys don't have the bandwidth, the time, nor the resources to go find a wife in another country because it costs. Don't think that you could just show up and think a woman's going to be subservient to you because you have an American passport. It doesn't work like that. You got to put a lot of time and effort into it. So this narrative that, you could just go there and you can find a wife. Listen, I've seen more guys get played than get married. And this is based on almost 20 years of traveling. So it's just like I've seen a lot of guys go out to these countries, get played, thinking that they got a good girl, and that girl's far from a good girl. So it is what it is, man. This story about, hey, you're going to find his wife and you can compare it to a sister in the United States or American woman. It's all BS, man, because trust me, the same foolishness that you see within the United States, you find it overseas as well.
Yeah, no, that's facts. That's facts. Now, I'm gonna we're gonna close, but I'm gonna start with myself closing, and then I'm gonna pass it to Ronan Traveler with Alex. Then I'll pass it to King Sigma, then Zoe, and then Black Man Travels. And then y'all in the chat, man, y'all can let us know who won the debate, man. But
man, you know I won, man. Ain't no debate. What you talking about? You know I won, man. Every person that joined this panel is not a passport bro. So what's up? You already know what the result is.
All right, I'm about to throw the uppercut. I'm about to throw the uppercut, man. And no, but all seriousness though, man. So this is my viewpoint in all totality. The passport bro, as far as the it going mainstream, it came from guys bragging and boasting on social media. Those are the people that people started looking at as quote unquote passport bros because those were the people they were seeing, the ones that was bragging, putting it in black women's faces, like, look what I'm doing. So the guys just bragging and boasting, that is the the spark that started the fire. As far as hashtag, as far as the not the creation of the hashtag, but as far as the virality of the hashtag. And so, but I embrace passport bros just like some of us embrace the N-word. You know what I mean? Some take it as a term of endearment, and some say, you know what, don't call me that. So I'm just of that avenue. So I embrace passport bros for what, whatever you want to call it. And the last thing I want to say is that if we take away the name or took away any name, like I said earlier, if people catch wind of a certain group of guys doing similar things, it could all be a group of black men traveling more. It could be a group of black men traveling to a particular country more. It could be a group of black men getting married to foreign women more. Wherever the pattern is, people can call it whatever they want to call it. The point is that regardless if you call yourself a passport bro or not, the point is that we have something in common. The word passport bros is just labeling people, saying that you have something in common with this name. But we take away the name, we still have some things in common one way or another. So I'm going to close with that.
I'm going to pick up right where you left off. There is a lot of commonality in brothers traveling. But at the same time, the narrative has to be controlled, and you have to stop people right at the door when they start to try to put a negative spin on what our objectives are, whether it is to monger, whether it is to go and find a wife, or if it's just the enjoyment of traveling. And then, like Zoe said, eventually you're going to want to, hit something while you're out there, and that's a natural course of life. So, passport bros, as far as a movement, it absolutely is. And I encourage black men to travel as much as they can. They need to experience things that other cultures have, other white people have, from America. We need to be able to get out and explore the world, whatever that means, whatever the definition is, and however you want to achieve that objective. Everybody needs to have a passport, So the movement itself is a positive movement. It's who's attaching themselves to it and the definition that's derived from it after they attach themselves to it. That needs to be controlled. Other than that, I don't think there's a big deal about brothers being lumped into one thing, as long as the narrative can be spun to being positive. You know, but yeah, I think it should keep going. I think everybody, like I said, every brother needs to have some exposure to other countries.
Facts.
That's all I have to say. Go ahead, King.
Appreciate that, bro. Okay, well, my whole thought is that, look, man, at the end of the day, the hashtag Passport Bros was created as a rally cry for Black male sovereignty and global citizenship. That's the true foundation of it. Our mantra has always been my freedom and my choice. It's never been about pay for play. It's never been about like chastising and denigrating American women. We know what they're about. The whole thing has been about, okay, this is what the feminists have done to this country. This is what weak men have done. Men are saying that I don't fit into this environment. I'm going to take my well-rounded self somewhere where there's a culture that I'm in tune with, and it's not here. The dudes that are actually anchoring their conversation on this, if Keisha don't act right, I'm going to get my passport. They're just parasites, and they have to put in a parasite category. So I would just end with, if you just stick with it, and the ambassadors that have always been the traveling men, the professional class men, college-educated men, military men, and international logistics type of men, this whole thing will turn out very well for all those that just stick with it. But again, the brother is right. You do have to do a certain level of policing. But again, you're still talking about other people's. I can't stop tax season Tyrone from traveling to Sasua or whatnot. I can't stop Passport Pookie. But what I can do, I can make sure that the world knows they not with us. Right. So with that, you brothers, thanks for having me on. Y'all have a good night, man.
All right, for sure, man. Hope to see you again, bro.
I like to say shout out to the whole panel. You know, this was a good talk. You know, it was good to get on here and let us all voice our opinions peacefully and respectfully. And I like what King Sigma had to say, and maybe we should attribute some of those points that he into. I think people are saying, well, this is what it is, and we're not, nobody's the leader, nobody's this and nobody's that. But I think somebody has to take the initiative to write a definition, like a mission statement to what Passport Brothers is, and put it out there.
I did, but
like stick with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or have a group discussion on what it should be. And I think if it's clear what it is and it's for positivity, which is basically traveling is a positive movement. You know, I think more brothers would join it or embrace it more. You know what I mean? They would embrace it more because overall it's for a positive thing, for brothers, for people, men to travel and explore, whether that be just for your soul, whether that be for a relationship or whatever it might be, even if it's just to have fun. As long as you keep it positive, that's all it really should be. And yes, we are all here inspiring others to travel, you know. So if Passport Bros has inspired people to travel too. The movement has inspired young men to travel, probably young and old. So overall, it's positive. But if, like I said, we don't get control of it or try to get ahead of it, right now it's being spun in a negative light. Although sometimes it's spinning back on the other side of the axis, and you do see some positivity. You do see a couple females agreeing with us, agreeing with the movement, saying, well, I understand why they Passport Brothers. And then you see Asian women over here making videos and everybody else. But at the end of the day, even the other people that are making videos, they still attacking Black women. And that's because Black women are attacking us, taking out their hurt on us, which taking out their hurt on them. And these women usually who are making these videos are people who don't even travel. Right. You know what I mean? So first of all, you got to have a passport to be a passport. You know, that's number one. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a passport to be a passport, bro. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, anybody who's traveling wouldn't hate on anybody traveling, no matter why.
Exactly.
So it's clearly people who just are ignorant to traveling. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when people are hurt, they say nasty stuff. So we got to try to like just get a hold of it, a little something, and we can spin this in the right direction. And he's right. We stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you never know. One day I might consider myself a pastor. Never say never.
Well, well, everyone knows who won this debate, so there's no need for me to say it. But real talk, I think, guys, look, man, traveling is a beautiful process. It's a beautiful experience. If you're leading with anger, bitterness, you're just taking it over to another country, man. You only have one life to live. Enjoy every second of it. And if the process, if your goal is to find a wife, don't make it a priority. Just let it happen naturally. Because when you go out there looking for something, you may find something that may hurt you even more. And that's it, man. Just tell a better story. You guys got to tell a better story, man. And the need of bashing women in the process is uncalled for. Live your best life and let everyone else watch you travel. That's it.
Yes,
hey, by the way, I beat you, man. So it's what it is, man.
It's all good, man. It's all fun and good, man. But I appreciate King Sigma coming up. He brought some history. I want people to understand that just like how I met Zoe, and like I'll use Zoe for example. We met in Brazil. And we became good friends ever since. He had his path, I had my path, and we didn't know each other from a can of paint. But people would tell Zoe like, Rob, he does his thing, he this or that, and I've learned more about what he did. So there's a lot of people that don't know each other that may have did a lot of things. I'm not gonna know everybody that got respect or got certain a lot of clout. I may look at you like, who the fuck is you? I'm just speaking in general terms. But right. You may have a lot of cachet or a lot of people might have respect for you, but I don't know you. So I think in general, we have to communicate more. And, like you said, we had a respectful conversation. And so I don't want to get caught up as far as, who was here first or who knows this or what avenues you came from, because at the end of the day, there's all of us got enough cachet, receipts, or whatever to go at each other. I could go as Zoe trip for trip. Black Man's Travel, and it's people that's smaller than all of us that probably did more traveling. So I don't want to get caught up into
semantics.
Semantics or who knows who's know what. But if there's if that brother has came up here and said that he started the word hashtag a couple of years ago, and I give credit to, like I said, to Yesh and Austin Holloman for bringing virality to the movement. They didn't push the hashtag. People that hate more people push the hashtags are the ones that's not traveling, and the ones that got bigger platforms that's anti-passport bros. Those are the ones that have been using the hashtag. But as far as people that made the movement go viral, I would say I would definitely give credit to Yes Jonas and Austin Holloman for using TikTok to make it go viral, and it's benefiting a lot of us on YouTube. And so where it goes from now, we've talked about it. We'll see, and then the last people I will give a credit to, even though there's some back history, I'll say, myself, No Excuse on the Passport Bros podcast, and Aaron Ferris of BNT with the Passport Bros Facebook group. I will say, as far as one of commercializing Passport Bros, that's what we've been on. So you got people that's commercializing, you got people that made the movement go viral, and then you got the people that originated the term. So I'm gonna end with that, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. Much love, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in the deal. Just took a flight to Bora Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, poncho. I been come to go soon. We going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing singing along. My diamonds be singing. Add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.